Hey everyone, welcome back to the Personal Growth Talks podcast, the place where we talk about simple but powerful ideas to grow as a person, step by step. I'm your host, Henry.
And I'm Sarah, your co-host. We're so glad you're here with us again.
Yes, whether you're listening while commuting, doing your chores, or just relaxing, thank you for making time to invest in yourself.
And remember, this podcast is made especially for English learners, so we'll keep things clear, friendly, and easy to follow. We want you to grow your mind and your English at the same time.
Exactly! And today, we're diving into a really important topic that can totally change your life if you understand it and use it. The power of consistency.
Ooh, yes, this one's big. Consistency isn't always exciting, but it's a game changer. Whether you want to improve your health, your habits, your career, or even your relationships, consistency is the key.
Totally agree. And here's the thing, many people start strong, but they don't stay consistent. That's the difference between just dreaming and actually growing.
So, in the next 30 minutes, we're going to talk about what consistency really means, why it's so powerful, and how you can build it into your own life, even if you struggle to stay on track.
All right, let's jump in and break it down. The power of consistency. Ready, Sarah?
Let's do it!
All right, so let's start with the basics. What is consistency? Sarah, how would you explain it in simple words?
Good question. I'd say consistency means doing something again and again in a steady way over time, even when it's boring, even when you don't feel like it.
Exactly. It's not about being perfect. It's about showing up again and again. For example, if you want to get better at speaking English and you practice just 10 minutes every day, that is consistency.
Yes. And here's the thing, doing a little every day is often more powerful than doing a lot once in a while. If you go to the gym once a month for 3 hours, it won't help much, but 20 minutes, 3 times a week, that adds up.
I love that. Think of it like brushing your teeth. You don't brush once a month for 2 hours, right? You brush a little every day. That's consistency.
Haha, yeah. And here's another example for our English learners. Imagine you're learning vocabulary. If you learn 5 new words every day for 30 days, that's 150 words. That's huge.
So true. And it's not just about action, it's also about attitude. Being consistent means choosing to keep going, even when you're tired, distracted, or not seeing fast results.
Right. It's that quiet commitment, that inner promise to yourself. And you don't need to be perfect. Just keep coming back.
Exactly. And that's what separates people who grow from people who give up. It's not talent. It's not luck. It's showing up again and again.
So remember, everyone listening, consistency is doing a little, often not everything at once, just something, again and again.
Love that. Simple, right? But powerful. Let's move on now and talk about why consistency is so important in personal growth. All right, now that we've explained what consistency is, let's talk about why. It really matters. Why is it so important?
Yes, this is the heart of it. Because honestly, consistency is one of the biggest secrets behind real, long-term success. Whether it's learning English, getting fit, building a business, it all comes down to small actions, done regularly.
Right. Let me share a quick story. A few years ago, I wanted to get in shape. I started strong, worked out every day for a week. But by the second week, I skipped a day, then 2. Then I stopped. No results, right?
Oof, I think we've all been there.
Totally. But then later, I tried again. But slower, I just committed to 15 minutes a day. That's it. Nothing fancy. But I kept doing it. A month passed. Then 2. And guess what? I started to see real change. Not because I worked harder, because I stayed consistent.
That's such a great example. I had a similar experience with learning French. I used to think I had to study for an hour a day, but that felt too heavy. I got tired and gave up. Then I switched to just 10 minutes daily, podcasts, flashcards, a little grammar, and boom, I kept it going for months.
Exactly. And this is the key point. Small actions, done often, beat big actions, done sometimes.
Let's say that again for our listeners. Small actions, done often, beat big actions, done sometimes. That's why consistency is powerful.
And the cool thing? Consistency builds something else too. Trust. You start to trust yourself. You feel more confident because you're proving to yourself, hey, I can stick with things.
Oh, yes. When we keep promises to ourselves, we build self-respect. That changes everything. How we see ourselves, how we talk to ourselves, even how we treat others.
And people around you notice it too. If you're consistent in your work or with your goals, others start to see you as reliable, steady, focused. That opens up new opportunities.
So let's sum it up. Consistency brings results, builds confidence, creates trust, and it shows others that you're serious.
Beautifully said. It's not magic. It's not luck. It's steady effort over time.
And remember, listeners, this is true for everyone. You don't need to be perfect or special. You just need to keep going.
So good. Coming up next, we're going to look at the common myths and struggles around consistency. Because let's be real, it's not always easy. So, we've talked about what consistency is and why it's so powerful. But let's be honest, being consistent isn't easy, right?
Right. If it were easy, everyone would be super fit, fluent in 5 languages, and reading 20 books a year. But life gets in the way. We get tired, we lose motivation, and sometimes we believe things that just aren't true.
Yes. That brings us to some of the myths about consistency. Those false beliefs that hold us back. One big myth I hear all the time is, if I don't see fast results, it's not working.
Oh, that one is so common, but it's completely false. Consistency isn't about instant results, it's about long-term growth. Just because you don't see the results yet doesn't mean progress isn't happening.
Exactly. Think of a seed. When you plant it, nothing happens at first, but under the soil, it's growing. Same with your habits. You don't see big changes right away, but they're coming if you keep going.
Another myth is, I need to feel motivated every day to stay consistent. But let me tell you, no one feels motivated all the time. Not me, not Henry, not anyone.
100%. Motivation comes and goes. That's why discipline is more important than motivation. You don't need to feel like doing it. You just do it anyway. Like brushing your teeth. You don't ask, do I feel inspired today?
Ha ha, so true. And here's one more myth. If I miss a day, I've failed. No, you haven't. Missing one day doesn't ruin everything. What matters is coming back. Get back on track. That's part of being consistent, too.
Yes, yes, yes. People get stuck in this all or nothing thinking. But real consistency includes rest. It includes off days. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to return.
Now let's talk about struggles, because even if we know these things, we still face challenges. One big one for me is boredom. Doing the same thing every day can feel, well, boring.
Totally. And boredom is normal. But it's also a sign that what you're doing is becoming a habit. That's good. You can mix it up a little too. Change the location, the music, the method. Just don't stop.
Another struggle, life distractions. Work, family, social media. It's easy to forget your goals. One tip? Set reminders. Or keep your habits visible, like a book on your pillow or workout shoes by the door.
Great tip. And one more big struggle, self-doubt. We start thinking, what if this isn't worth it? What if I fail?
But the truth is, you're already winning by showing up. Every step forward builds strength, even on the hard days.
So remember, everyone's struggles are part of the process. And you don't have to do it perfectly. You just have to keep going.
All right, coming up next, we're going to share some real-life stories and examples of people who stayed consistent and saw amazing results. This part is super inspiring.
Okay, now it's time for one of my favorite parts of any podcast episode, real-life stories. Because, let's face it, hearing how real people used consistency to succeed makes it feel possible for us too.
Totally. These stories can really light a fire inside. So let's kick off with someone many people know, J.K. Rowling, the author of Harry Potter. Did you know she was rejected by 12 different publishers before someone finally said yes?
That's wild. 12 rejections, and she still kept going. That's what consistency looks like. She didn't quit after the first no, or the second, or even the 10th.
Exactly. She believed in her story, and she kept submitting her book. And now, she's one of the most successful authors in the world. Not because of luck, because she stayed consistent.
Here's another example. Kobe Bryant. He was known for his insane work ethic. He would show up hours before practice to shoot free throws, every single day. While other players were sleeping in, he was working.
Wow, I love that. And he once said, "Great things come from hard work and perseverance. No excuses, that's consistency right there." He wasn't just talented, he outworked people.
Absolutely. Now, let's talk about a more everyday story. A friend of mine moved to Canada a few years ago. He could barely speak English when he arrived, but he made a goal: study and practice for 30 minutes a day, no matter what.
That's amazing. What happened?
He kept it up for a full year. Every single day, listening, reading, writing, speaking. Now, he's fluent. He has a job, friends, and even started a podcast in English.
That's so inspiring, and that's what we want our listeners to hear. You don't have to be famous to succeed. You just have to be consistent.
Yes, and here's one more quick one. There's a woman I follow online who lost 40 pounds, not by doing anything extreme, but by walking 20 minutes a day and slowly changing her meals. That's it, she said. I didn't do it fast, but I did it every day.
That's the magic, little by little, and it applies to anything: fitness, language, mental health, saving money, relationships. Consistency always pays off.
Yes, and here's one more quick one. There's a woman I follow online who lost 40 pounds, not by doing anything extreme, but by walking 20 minutes a day and slowly changing her meals. That's it, she said. I didn't do it fast, but I did it every day.
And neither should you. Your journey might be slow, and that's okay. Just keep walking.
Coming up next, we'll look at the science behind why consistency works so well. There's actually some cool psychology behind it. All right, so we've seen what consistency looks like in real life. But now, let's get into the why. Why does being consistent actually work? What's going on in our brains?
Oh, science time. Don't worry, listeners. We're keeping it simple. One big idea is something called a habit loop. Basically, when you do something again and again, your brain starts to automate it.
Right. So at first, your brain has to work hard, like learning to drive or speak English. But if you do it over and over, your brain says, "Hey, I know this," and it gets easier.
Exactly. It's like building a path in your brain. The more you walk that path, the clearer it becomes. That's called neuroplasticity, a fancy word that means your brain can change by learning new habits.
Yes, your brain is always watching what you repeat. So if you watch TV every night, it becomes a habit. If you read or exercise every night, that becomes a habit too.
Another cool fact: when we complete small tasks, our brain releases a chemical called dopamine. It's like a little reward, a feel-good signal. So when you do something consistent, like check off a habit tracker, your brain goes, "Nice job."
And that dopamine keeps you coming back. It's a cycle. You take action, get a small reward, and feel motivated to do it again.
That's why starting small is so powerful. You don't need big wins to stay motivated. You just need small, regular wins. Your brain loves that.
And the best part? The more you repeat something, the less willpower you need. It becomes automatic. That's when consistency turns into momentum.
Yes, so don't feel bad if things feel hard at first. That's normal. But every day you show up, your brain gets stronger and more comfortable. And eventually, it becomes who you are.
Love that. So to all our listeners, science is on your side. Your brain wants to help you if you just keep showing up.
Coming up next, we're going to share some practical tips on how you can build consistency into your daily life, starting today.
All right. So now that we understand how consistency works, let's get into the fun part. How to actually build it into your life.
Yes, because let's be honest, it's one thing to want to be consistent. It's another thing to actually do it. So let's give our listeners some real, easy steps.
Tip number 1. Start small, like really small. If you want to build a reading habit, don't start with 30 minutes. Start with 2 pages, or even 1 page.
Love that. Small is sustainable. And when something feels easy, you're more likely to do it again, which leads to tip number 2. Make it daily, even if it's just 5 minutes. Daily habits grow faster than weekly ones.
Yes, it builds rhythm. Think of it like brushing your teeth. You don't skip that, right? Treat your new habit the same way.
Here's tip number 3. Use visual reminders. Put your journal on your pillow. Leave your English flashcards on your desk. Keep your goals in sight so you don't forget.
So helpful. And here's tip 4. Track your progress. Use a habit tracker, a notebook, or even a calendar. When you see those check marks adding up, it feels so good.
That's the dopamine we talked about. And finally, tip 5. Be kind to yourself. If you miss a day, don't give up. Just start again the next day. Progress is not about perfection. It's about returning.
Such a good reminder. Most people fail not because they're weak, but because they quit too soon. If you just don't quit, you win.
So to recap, here are our 5 quick tips. 1. Start small. 2. Make it daily. 3. Use reminders. 4. Track progress. 5. Be kind to yourself.
If you follow just these 5 tips, you'll be amazed at what you can build, step by step, day by day.
Coming up next, we'll talk about what to do when life gets busy and how to stay consistent even on hard days. Because, hey, it happens to all of us.
Okay, so before we wrap up, let's bring this conversation home, especially for you, our English learners.
Yes, because everything we've said today about consistency, it totally applies to learning English.
Think about it. You don't need to study for hours. Just 10-15 minutes a day can make a huge difference. The key is doing it every day.
Exactly. Listen to 1 podcast episode a day, learn 5 new words, write 1 short paragraph. It all adds up, Every little step improves your confidence and skill.
And remember, don't wait to feel perfect before you practice. Mistakes are part of the process. Keep showing up, and your brain will catch on.
You've got this. Whether you're just starting or already advanced, consistency is what will take your English to the next level.
So make it part of your routine. A little English every day, and soon it'll feel natural.
All right, coming up, we'll start closing today's episode with some final thoughts and a little challenge for you to try this week.
All right, friends, as we wrap up today's episode, we want to leave you with one simple message. You don't need to be perfect. Just be consistent.
That's it? No magic? No special talent? Just showing up every day in small ways? That's how real growth happens.
Whether you're learning English, working on your health, starting a new habit, or chasing a dream, you are building something every time you try again.
So don't give up just because it's slow. Slow is still forward, and forward is everything.
You've got more strength than you think. And every time you follow through, you're becoming the kind of person who doesn't quit.
So here's our challenge to you. Choose one small thing you can do every day this week. Just one. And do it, no matter what.
And next time you feel like skipping it, remember this. Success doesn't come from what you do occasionally. It comes from what you do consistently.
We believe in you. Your future self is going to thank you for the choices you make today.
Thanks for listening to Personal Growth Talks podcast. We'll see you next time. Until then, keep growing, keep learning, and stay consistent.
Bye, everyone.
All right, that's a wrap for today's episode of Personal Growth Talks podcast.
Thanks so much for spending this time with us. We hope you found some useful ideas about the power of consistency.
If you enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to subscribe and share it with your friends. It really helps us grow and reach more people.
And if you want to connect with us or ask questions, check out our social media links in the description.
Plus, we'd love to hear your stories about consistency. What small steps are you taking? Send us a message or leave a comment.
Also, keep an eye out for our next episode. We have some exciting topics coming your way.
Until then, keep practicing your English, stay consistent, and remember, growth is a journey, not a race.
Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, everyone!